What's good? My name is Rich Jones, and I'm a certified wellness coach, national champion in master's level track and field, and motivational speaker. And here on the Mental Wealth Show, it's all about health, wellness, and healing. So this is the first episode of 2023, but honestly, I feel like I'm still reflecting on 2022. It takes 365 days to make a year, so we should have more than a couple of days to reflect on it, especially before we start jumping into the 2023 goals. I mean, I know for a lot of people out there, they just finished posting their highlight reel for 2022, and now it's time to start posting the goals and get going for 2023. Yo, slow the hell down. That next thing you need to accomplish isn't going anywhere. And if you're new to the podcast, I encourage you to jump back to the bonus episode I released on February 4th, 2022, then listen to each of the brief solo episodes I released thereafter. So they're mixed in with some of the ones where I interviewed someone for the show or I had a guest on. And so you'll be able to identify those because you won't see someone else's name in the title. And if you've been around for a minute, you'll understand more about why this intro may sound a little different. So jumping right into it, I achieved a critical milestone in my personal healing journey when I had a conversation with my mom in early November. And here's the thing, I got what I needed from that conversation and not what I wanted. And I'll talk more about that in a couple of weeks. But the short version is I realized my mom isn't going to change just because I have. And it turned out that I needed to radically accept her as she is today versus hoping and pleading that she's going to become the mom that I needed many, many years ago. And so it was a bittersweet moment in my adulthood and in my healing journey because I'd finally gotten to a place where I could tell my mom how I felt and handle the response from that, and the world didn't end. I didn't die. She didn't have a big emotional response. And I think I knew that she wasn't going to have a big emotional response, but I wanted her to have one. And so the real test in all of this was telling her how I felt after stuffing these feelings for most of my life. So once I did that and noticed it didn't upset her because she's still in survival mode herself, there was a shift. I wasn't satisfied after the phone call, but I was relieved because as painful as the truth was, I finally accepted it. She is who she is. She's not going to change. I need to love her as she is today and over these remaining years that we have together, because I have an opportunity to still talk to at least one parent. And so the past 2 years have been leading to this conversation. And when I've been gone from the podcast, it's usually because I've been focused on feeling the feelings and doing the healing. The easiest way to describe it is a massive reallocation of energy to process all the emotions. And with that energy often went my creativity. And the other big thing I was doing last year was track and field. It was my first year back after 15 plus years off. And so that required me to set aside time and energy. And it's crazy because I feel like in many ways, the track and field journey has mirrored my healing journey. I had a conversation with my mom in May that went really poorly. I mean, it went the way it was supposed to go because I got information from that phone call. But that conversation was about telling her all of the things that happened to me in my childhood and how that made my life difficult as an adult. Whereas this conversation that I had with my mom in November was about telling her how I felt. And that first phone call was filled with defense, aloofness, attempts to change the subject, me getting frustrated, me then becoming essentially heartbroken that the response when I told her everything that happened to me was good luck healing from that as if she hadn't played a role. Then a couple of weeks after this conversation, I strained my right hip and it took me out the mix for about 10 weeks. In fact, it took me out until the week before the national championship meet in Lexington, Kentucky. Like that's how long that injury took me out. But coincidentally, that first conversation with my mom took me out for a little while too, because I had to process the way that conversation went and the pain that I walked away with from that conversation. And I feel like this is what the past couple of years have been leading to. These two conversations that I didn't want to have, but needed to have. I've also accepted in the past few weeks that sharing the power of healing is part of my purpose. Now that I'm able to look back and not constantly relive some of the most terrible moments of my life as if they're happening in the present, I can confidently say, Many of us are walking around with conditions or unresolved pain and don't even know it. I've acknowledged that I put myself in several bad situations over my lifetime, and there were always other actors involved who didn't execute the best judgment themselves. And in retrospect, I can see they had issues of their own. Things like low self-esteem, lack of confidence, parents who never told them they loved them, all sorts of traumatic upbringings. And I've seen how not healing from these things has played out in adulthood. Hell, I've lived what it's like to not heal. And the only reason I'm able to look back and see the situations and things that I used to feel so bad about that I don't feel bad about anymore, I may still have feelings about what happened in terms of, I wish it didn't happen that way. Or, you know what, that really was a shitty situation. There's no doubt about it, but I can't go back and change it. So the only thing I can do is move forward. So all the little things I've heard and all the little things I've observed started to make sense. And the common thread isn't just therapy or letting shit go, it's healing. And healing is hard. Like the way I'm talking right now, this is me after 2 years and I'm still not done. But passing this milestone with my mom allowed me to do something I've been working my way toward for a while now. Last month, Misha and I took a trip just before Christmas to a Mexican resort town called Zihuatanejo, Zihuatanejo. And since I took the time to spell that shit, you know it's got to be good. Like, we'll definitely be going back. But anyway, fast forward a couple of days into the trip, and Misha and I are on this type of boat called a catamaran. It's almost like a sailboat type of thing. Shout out to the staff aboard from Picante Cruises and also the staff at the Thompson Zihuatanejo for helping create a special moment, because I got to propose to her at sunset on the water, on the ocean. It was literally a storybook ending. I mean, they even had When a Man Loves a Woman playing in the background. Literally a storybook ending to the healing journey from these past couple of years. And I love her for loving me through all this. And now we get to start the next chapter of our lives together with the version of me I've been working so hard to get to for so long. It has been a freaking journey. This is the power of healing though. And this is why I want to spend more time talking about it in 2023. And it's also why I started working on my first book about this overall healing journey and the past that I had to confront. And as of this episode, I'm 9,000 words in and I still got 91,000 words to go, at least, before I call this a first draft. And I want to share parts of what I've written in the book. I want to share lessons that I've learned. I want to expose people to some of the different modalities for health and wellness that are out there, things that are accessible. I also want to clarify on terminology, a lot of the stuff that I've been doing for years now, making difficult concepts or complex concepts or concepts that lead to shame easy to understand. Before it was money, now it's health and wellness. And it's hard for me to not be in this place and not want to go this route when I see the power and I see the results of everything that I've been through over the past couple of years. And I don't want you to think of me as a hero. I don't even want you to think of me as a guide. I'm someone who just wants to see you do better, whatever that means in your life. All right. I just want you to do better. I want you to feel better. I want you to feel whole. There's so much out there that's available to us. And I want to share some of that because there's a lot of stuff that I've learned along the way. I'll say prior to this journey, I didn't really know what eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy was. I didn't know what I actually needed to heal from and how to go through that process, things to do to support me while going through the healing, whether it was staying active, stretching, yoga, massage, chiropractor, changing up my nutrition. A lot of different stuff went into this, and I want to share more of that with you because I know that it makes an impact. So I'll be back on January 24th to tell you about some of those things that I'm bringing into 2023. I got one for sure that you're going to hear about is this app called Notion. I know it's not new. I know I'm not officially putting the world onto it, but it has been a game changer on the productivity front, especially as someone with ADHD. So I'm going to talk about that in the next episode, along with some other tools and maybe even a couple of insights from 2022 that I'm bringing into 2023 to make sure that I position myself to have space for the things I want in my life. Also, if you need help getting unstuck in your wellness journey, be sure to visit findmorebalance.com for articles, past episodes, and my calendar to book your free 20-minute discovery call to learn if I'm the right coach for you. Because yes, I am a certified wellness coach, as I said up top. And if you're like me, you hate free things that turn into high pressure sales situations. I freaking hate that so much. And that's not my style. I believe if you're ready to work with me as a wellness coach, you'll let me know. It's as simple as that. So again, I encourage you to visit findmorebalance.com and book that 20-minute consultation if you're serious about making some lifestyle changes this year. That's about as much as you're going to get as a sales pitch from me today. And if you're new to the pod, be sure to subscribe, follow, whatever your podcast listening app tells you to do so that you can have episodes delivered to you. Thanks for listening. I'll be back on January 24th. And until then, stay dope. Peace.